Hi, my name is Clive Barnett. I'm a singer-songwriter, more a songwriter than a singer. I'm putting this little project together with my good friend Tony Drake, and it's a simple song called Yeah, 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 and it's a tribute to the Beatles really. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's in two parts. One is songwriting process. Mine is kind of messy and organic, and Tony and I collaborate and get a result that we enjoy getting. And I'm also looking at recording in Cubase 10, which is my DAW of choice. And what we do is on this project we're using some free plugins and free VSTs, just so that you can see that there's some fun stuff out there. It'll cost you nothing and can do quite a good job. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Three chords and the truth. Yep, here we go. It's simple E. We don't use A as the follow-on chord from E and then into B, like most bluesy three-chord songs use. We've changed it up. We've got an E into G, using the bar so that you can treat this as a 5 if you want to, but you can also play the open G as part of changing your tonality in the bridge, or however you want to do it, because this is for you to have fun with as well. And then A is the other chord there. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That sort of thing with a riff over. You'll see the chords come up in the Cubase template that I've used. I do put in the chords, and I introduce you very briefly to Band in a Box because it's really useful, typing in chords and choosing a style and a number of instruments to use or to delete or to fade in when you want to use them, especially once you've actually captured those and turn them into WAV or MP3, and then just take them into your Cubase, and then you can start editing them there, so it gives you something to work with. So we hope you have fun, enjoy the process, and it encourages you to really do something special for yourself. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, this is the song sort of worked out, just roughly scribbled. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Title, one verse. Hope it gets better than verse, and the chorus, and then a solo. And so the song moved from chaos and mayhem to something that we could work with on the recording side. And that's where Tony came in. My heart is beating fast, the broken heart past is falling away. Hey. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Often I use Band in a Box as a starting point because it's got many styles in, and you can punch in the chords, and yeah, then it's really easy. Then you've got a style, you've got a whole band going. Yeah, and you can isolate instruments. And it gives you a good sense of what instruments sound like that you might want to emulate. And one of the things that I'm going to do is try emulate some of these instruments, because I'm pretty happy with this tempo and this sort of feel for this song. Although you can move to a whole lot of different styles in Band in a Box. You can even add solos. Yeah. Although I don't think that solo will work, but elements of it might mean something. And then there's a synth string. up here you'll see the chord track for part of it. I've just got the amp mounted in there still, but I want you to particularly notice that even in a 3-chord song, what you do to add interest is speed up or slow down chord progressions. So in this section particularly, I've got just for the chorus, last part of the chorus there you see G, A, E. G and A are in the same bar, and then E, and then go into the solo. And what I do back here is at the intro I've got the E, G, E section, and then what I do for the action, that's the intro, the first 2 parts there, you can see intro, and then I actually surprisingly start the song in A. So that's where the verse is. It's actually an A into E, and then I use the G, A, E over it. And it can work, and I'm just wanting you to explore, because what we're going to look at is just really the soundscape of using the amp and adding some other free effects, chorus and delay and such. So yeah, this is supposed to be fun for you and for me. One plugin that was used consistently throughout this project is the supercharger compressor from Native Instruments. It was used on the vocals, all the guitars, the bass, the drums, just with the various settings that come stock standard without too much fiddling around. Just used it straight really. We used a Rode NT2A microphone for recording the vocal, but I use the Chaotica eyeball to isolate the microphone. It really works very well. Not cheap, but an excellent investment. Then we used the vocal doubler, isotope free download. I do demonstrate a bit how that works. And of course, as referred to before, the supercharger compressor was used on the vocal as well. And all those are shown and how they affect the vocal in the next clip. We're going to focus for a while on the vocal track, just to have a look at what we used there. Apart from using a really good microphone in the Rode NT2, we also used an Alesis tube preamp. And then I've used a free amp from Clevergo, which I've started experimenting with. We're not going to focus on that over much, so I'm going to shunt it out of the way now. And the 2 main things that we used are the supercharger compression, which is a Native Instrument free download, and we use that on everything, as I mentioned earlier. And we use this vocal doubler, which comes from Isotope, and it's pretty useful. So here's just the vocal track isolated, and you'll just hear how this worked through the vocal track as it comes up. Now I'll just move this in, speed up to the vocal track. As the vocal track comes in now, you should hear it. You say you're gonna give all your love to me. I'm gonna take these things off. Free amp first. I'm counting stars at night. The future's bright. You can see that did make a difference. The vocal doubler's off. Supercharger's off. Obviously we've got the stock delay and the stock reverb that comes with Studio Pro. Let's just kick these in again. The broken-hearted past is falling away. Just show you very quickly here. And this is how you play with this. So that's the vocal stuff. These are the free toys that we used on the guitar parts. I do demonstrate them in stages in the next few video clips. The lead riff is a double stop riff, very simple. I used this face bender. When you have a look at the tweak section, you can see you've got a whole lot of knobs to fiddle with here. Great lot of fun. There is a secondary one which has a slightly different sound that we'll experiment with in another project. This one, we've just looked at it like this and fiddled with the input filter and gate, input level, not too much, and just used the standard amp on clean this time because already there was so much drive coming through. So when it kicks in, you can hear this. See, simple. Yeah, all done. Just going to take you to the fills and just kept it very simple here. Once again, we used the free amp. I've just isolated it. But you can see I used the lead and I pushed the gain quite a bit. And then I used the Blue Cat chorus, just set on vibrato. Lots of settings on this. Download it, enjoy it, play with it. It's an amazing tool and it's free. Yep, the solo. Got a bit carried away here. This amp once again set to lead. Gain is pushed a little bit. Treble is just pushed there a bit more. Used the free amp, it just warmed it up a little bit. The flanger. This is where this came in. Blue Cat, there's the flanger, the phaser. They've got a delay unit and a chorus unit, all free downloads, well worth getting. Lots of settings, and then the good old face bender fuzz. So here we are. All mayhem breaks loose. Drum simple, stereo GM kits, which is very standard in Hellion Sonic 2. It's a basic set. Didn't mess around with that too much. And then supercharger to the rescue once again on compression, and just set for the drum bus, and Tony played these in. Initially when I started fiddling, I just used a loop and ran that to get my basic ideas in, and then Tony put this in, and you can see how it works with the bass. So it's all there. The other features come in. That just gives you a sense of the rhythmic part of the song. For the bass, we used this Ample Bass P2 Lite. It's free download, has its limitations. There's a paid version. This is a 4-string bass. 5 and 6 string basses in this range I don't know about, they probably exist. We have others in Cubase Pro that we use, so don't worry about that too much. But it really works pretty well. There you see it all moving away as the notes are played in by Tony, all the strings vibrate. It's really cool to actually see that happen. Just opening up here for a bit, and then we'll just see what's happening up here with the audio inserts. There we go. Yeah, free bass, amplitude bass amp, just very straightforward. You can see the levels hopping there, just set relatively straightforward. Didn't tweak this too much, it just worked as it was, so we weren't going to fiddle. It was for the purpose of this exercise and not to write next hit song. This was one of Tony's finds when we started the free instrument hunt. Tel Uno 62 organ lead is the setting we used. just worked well. You'll hear it cut in now. Yeah, gotta love that sort of stuff. Did what it had to do very effectively. This is in the intro, and you hear it featured further in the song, especially in the jam out section. Sonatina Orchestra. It worked very well. We just doubled it up with an orchestra in the Hallion. So you can just have a look here and see. I'll pull that to the side and just have a listen here quickly. So isolate it and move it on just a tad. There we go. Just to get that rock orchestra effect here, and then we'll just bring in the Hallion orchestra, and you can see how the double up works for this. Just beefs it up a bit. So you can see that has really quite a good impact in the song as you listen later. Just violins and staccato. You gotta give all your love to me. I'm counting stars at night, the future's bright, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm on a rocket ship when you kiss my lips. What a take-up sensation. My heart is beating fast. The broken heart past is falling